Hello, everybody. Welcome to our 17th Artist Talk. And the Artist Talk for this week, I actually remembered the number this time. I always blank out on that. Today with me, I have Ed. Well, how do I pronounce your last name? Because for those listening, Ed is Andreas's brother, who I've had
hmm
for two Artist Talks before. Um, and when Andreas showed me his Instagram account, I was like, okay, I need to do an Artist Talk with you. But unfortunately, I struggle at pronouncing you guys' last name.
You're not the first or the last person to struggle with my last name. It's a mouthful. It's hard. There's a lot of letters. Um, it's pronounced Siegelboim, but
Whoa,
that's like the Spanish version of it. Like seagull, like the bird, and boim, like bomb. But just a little spicy, instead of
nice.
bomb, it's boim. But I tell people in the U.S. I just say Ziggleboim
Zigo boy.
because yeah, that's the last name.
It's I have a different way of pronouncing some of my names as well when I'm here because
hmm
people can't pronounce them correctly. Um,
Yeah,
and then to those listening, Ed, if they, how would you? Well, I mean, like, give us a little intro about
sure.
yourself.
Um, Hi, my name's Ed. Um, I'm an alcoholic. I'm just kidding. No, I'm an artist. I'm a creative. I live in New York City. Um,
New
I
York
guess
City. Okay,
yes, I live in Brooklyn, New York. And I've been here now for 4 years. Um,
nice.
so I was born in Venezuela, and I grew up. I actually moved early, and like very early into my life, I was like 2 or 3 years old, and we moved to Boston.
Mm,
And then from there, my dad was getting his MBA, and he got his MBA, and then we moved to Westchester, New York. And then from
nice,
there, after a couple of years, I we moved to Miami, Florida, which is where that's home.
nice.
Um, and so all throughout like that time, I would say like my journey into the creative, a creative career began around the time around the time I heard Blink 182 for the first time. I just was fucking floored.
Nice.
Um,
Blink
yeah, I mean,
182.
it was a little bit of that, and of course, my dad who played guitar,
Okay.
who plays guitar, and so he would like play us, me and my older brothers, like songs, U2 and Beatles and all sorts of things like that. And so I always loved music, but I think at a young age, at a certain point, I was like, I want to learn.
Mm.
And yeah, from there, it was kind of it was funny with my older brother. Um, I mean, you know how unbelievably talented he is. I mean, he's like a freak of nature
Yo, his
at
paintings are
art. I
insane.
mean, his paintings are insane, his illustrations are insane, and it wasn't like something that it's just sometimes people are just born with
Mm.
their gift, and Dre is one of those people. I shit you not. I mean, there was like a drawing he made at like 2 or 3 years old that my mom kept, and it's of Captain Hook, and it's like fucking verbatim
Nice.
Captain Hook. It's just like I don't know. So he's always been really good at that, and so I didn't like know what I was going to be really good at, and I did
Mm.
enjoy drawing, but it was just becoming more and more clear that drawing was Dre's lane. Like visual art was his lane, and I think I I wanted to have something of like of the sort for myself, and
Mm.
started playing guitar, and I despised it at first. It's hurting my fingers,
These are
kind of,
facts. Big facts.
it's hard, I'm like a kid, like I don't want to go to guitar lessons. I want to
Mm.
go on my bike and like do, hood rat shit. Um, but I think moving from New York to Florida gave me some like weird fire in my belly or something like that, and I just
Mm.
like stuck to it, and I like got better and better and better and better. And me and Dre, I call him Dre, uh,
Mm.
were writing music for a really long time. Um, and that kind of led to a couple of bands, and Dre would do the visual art and I would do the music and he would do the lyrics and sing. And I was kind of like a shy songwriter. Like I didn't know that I could sing and I didn't know that I could write words. And it took a long time to get out of that, you know, to get out of that mindset.
Mm.
And anyway, many years later, me and him were still writing songs together, and I'm in college, so we're separated. And I started writing by myself, and I started feeling more confident on my own to write music. And I think there came a point where I was just kind of in charge of. I was in charge of like the Instagram account. I was in charge of, you know, getting, you know, recording
Mm.
the music. You know, Dre just didn't have access to any of those things. And, you know, I was in college and I was with some incredibly talented people who did have access to these things.
Well,
And so I was just learning from the best in college.
well,
And
I wanted to ask
yeah,
real quick.
mhm.
Are you guys twins by any chance, or
We
no?
are not twins, but I
Okay.
consider him, I consider him like we may as well be. I was born 2 years after him.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So I'm the younger,
Okay.
Dre the younger.
Dre
No,
the.
I'm just kidding. But yeah. So there came a point where I think like visually, me and Dre,
Mm.
well, me in particular, I was becoming this, you know, I was becoming obsessed with this like vintage collage, like
Mm.
psychedelic collage art. I don't know if you've heard of like Mr. Babies or Eugenia Lolly or
Mr. Babies.
yeah, Mr. Babies on Instagram. It's like and he is to me, he's a legend. I mean, he's like, it's like Dali-esque collage art,
Mm.
like just psychedelic trip acid freakouts, you know, like beautiful though, like
Oh
beautiful
wow.
collage paintings, essentially. In my brain, that was the kind of stuff that visually spoke to me. I felt
Mm.
like it like connected with the music, like with this kind of idea of trippiness, and it's just so artful and beautiful. And I hit up a couple of collage artists because I didn't know how to make visual art. I hadn't drawn since I was a kid,
Mm.
and since Dre had just become so great at it, I just had no in as far as like visual art. Um, So in college, I studied advertising and I went in as a copywriter because I had no
Mm.
concept of you were either a copywriter or an art director if you were going to enter advertising in the creative field. Um, and I am a good writer, so I chose that route. And luckily, like at the end of my senior year, I had, you know, an extra class or two that I could take, and I took a Photoshop class, like an Adobe class.
Nice.
Um, and I basically had the aim of like I'm gonna take this class so that I don't have to pay other people to do my album art anymore. And from there, it's just been a journey. I've learned my ins and outs through Photoshop by taking jobs in advertising in New
Okay.
York, and yeah, that's kind of how I learned. I just like learned by my bootstraps. You know, it was like I sucked at it at first. I mean, I was not very good at it at all. But it was fun. And many years later, I was, you know, laid off from my job in 2020, COVID hysteria,
Mm.
um, and I didn't really know what my, you know, next move was going to be, but it was exciting because it felt like the whole world also was that way. You know, like what the fuck are we all collectively going to do?
It's true.
So it was comforting in a way. Um,
Well.
and so what I did
Mm.
over the past year and a half was I made an album which is coming out next week. Um, and I've kind of amassed this Instagram following through making graphic designs, which are essentially like psychedelic like affirmations or something like that. And it started through Black Lives Matter because I would go to protests here in New York and I would see these infographics that people were holding at the protests that I
Mm.
would see on Instagram first. And I'd be like, well, I want to me, that was like, oh, well, that's a really cool way to contribute. You know,
Mm.
you would open your phone at that time and the only thing you were seeing was Black Lives Matter for like 3 months or something. Like it was insane. And so it wasn't like I'm gonna hop on this trend thing. It was a legitimate like I want to help. Like how can
Mm.
I help? And so I started kind of fucking about in Photoshop, and I started posting uh, kind of social justicey type, not infographics, but just graphic designs, and people seem to like gravitate towards them, and people were sharing them to their stories, and it was like a snowball effect. As I kept posting, like the following grew, and I kind of treated it like a job for a long time. Um, and I think over time, I'm not like an inherently political person either.
Mm.
So I just it started shifting as well. Like I wanted to change it up, and so it became less political. And so that's where I'm at now. Is I'm at the culmination right now of like I've finished the record. The album is coming out next week, and I've done this pretty like I'm very proud to have amassed this following on Instagram. And the question I'm asking myself now is like, what's next?
Well, well, so that's the thing. When your brother had approached me, he was like, "Hey, man, my brother makes really sick art and he makes really good music, and I've been telling him to enter NFTs, and he just doesn't know how." And it was at the time where I also realized Instagram is pretty much like a glorified image clicker with no
Yeah,
real um, capitalization on the following, right? And it's like
yeah,
it was weird to see because like we would see on Instagram, and it's like even I like the art accounts that I would follow um like around the time Instagram started changing their like algorithms, a lot of the artists that I used to follow that I considered to be huge, right? And then I would see their Instagram and I would be like, they must be selling out, right? And a lot of them were like
yeah.
starting to complain, and that's when I realized I was like, shit. There's a
Mm,
fucking big problem here. Like nobody's selling their shit off of Instagram. And what's
yes.
and like the annoying thing is like I follow this sort of like dark collage artist as well, and
Hmm.
usually my expectations towards prints is, oh, they're gonna be expensive, right? And to me,
Yeah,
like a print for $30 is cool, but like if to me like if it's an artist that I like, to me a print of like $100 is sort of like the marker of value. And then to see this person with like 500,000 followers sell their prints
yeah.
for like $9, and I was like, how you have 500,000 followers, like,
That's crazy.
right? And so
Yeah.
the NFT space enters, and then you look at it and you're like, well, shit. And then when I looked at your Instagram, I was like, so many of us are trying, who enter the space, are trying to find the style, right? And
Yeah.
you already
Yeah.
have this recognizable style that's been established over a year, which
Yeah.
is crazy. Like,
Thank you.
did you grow your account to 83K in 1 year alone? Like, was this account not
Y-
existent a year ago?
So so the account was a for all intents and purposes, it's just a shit post. Like it wasn't a shit post account like a
Mm,
Instagram, but it was like a
just like your
like a
life.
personal it
Mm,
was a personal Instagram account. Like here's a photo of me eating chicken nuggets or something, like something stupid shit. Like I mean, I would post personal things, and I would post like, whenever I dropped the music, I would post to the band page as well as the personal Instagram page.
mm.
But that was the EduZiggy account originally. Like, I mean, you can if you scroll down far enough, you'll see
Oh, I'm
that
there.
there's like a clear,
I'm
yeah, there's
there.
a clear distinction between when I wasn't doing it and then when I started doing it. And so, yeah, to
It's
answer your question, like this has been it's been it's been a little bit over a year.
damn, damn. That's actually
Yeah.
that's very impressive. A year. That's wild.
Yeah.
And I can literally
Yeah.
see when when the style immediately changes.
Yes. It became
Damn.
like fun. Like there was a guy named Broccoli Boy on Instagram who I don't know what happened to this guy. You could Google him. If you Google Broccoli Boy designs, you'll find him, but he like deleted his internet like completely. Like there's no website anymore. There's no Instagram
Damn.
anymore. There's no like trace of this guy, which is kind of sus. I hope he's all right. Broccoli Boy, if you're listening, I hope you're okay. But I was obsessed with this guy's work. When COVID started, he was doing. I was just so inspired by the things he was doing. It was just like little PSAs essentially of like wash your hands for like 8 seconds, but it was like in this beautifully textured and
Mm.
vintage type graphic, and like the imagery he was kind of coming up with was really friendly, and
Mm.
people were at the time everyone was at home, like these are the things that it was like inherent, and I think this is the trick to Instagram. If you can get if you have a message that someone can resonate with
Mm.
strong enough that they'll post it to their story, then your shit spreads like wildfire. And I think that's probably similar to Twitter. If you just, say the right thing at the right time, you'll get enough retweets and have like a viral
Yeah,
a
it's true.
viral art post or something.
It's
I haven't figured Twitter out at all. I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to Twitter.
a
I
lot of
really
us.
want to, yeah.
No, no, a lot of us haven't figured Twitter out. Like, there's this one crypto trader that I follow. I think it was like Trader Main or something, and he posted a video meme unrelated to crypto, unrelated to NFTs, unrelated to fuck all, and
Hmm.
it got 1 million views. And even he was like, I don't understand why this is getting 1 million views. And it's like legitimately like Twitter is sort of has a few things where it's like if you post consistently, you start to like gain momentum, but the shit that goes viral, like nobody knows why it goes viral. You know, it's like
Yeah,
sometimes shit will literally go viral, and you're like, why? And it's
yeah,
like, and it's like sometimes it's also weird because like virality doesn't also like translate into profile click throughs or anything, right? Because like I realize sometimes it's hilarious to like go on Conor McGregor's Twitters and just fucking post
hmm,
memes of him because just they get insane traction. You know, like if he post like
yeah,
like one time he was like tweeting something, and then I literally just posted a meme, and it got me so much traction, but none of it translates to the profile.
right,
And
right,
you look at your analytics and you literally see like this one little fucking huge ass streak, and then everything returns to normal. So it's like Twitter is
right.
weird, but it's like it's one of those things where it's the community has been it's like it's very weird. The community is so tight knit on Twitter that you like within 6 months of people being here, they start to run into everybody and they start to meet everybody in different discords, right?
That's sick.
It's actually wild. Like,
Yeah, I think yeah,
mm,
Instagram doesn't, like, people support each other on Instagram. Like I like to think I'm part of some kind of design community on Instagram. Like I'm friendly the with some of the people with the really big accounts, as well as like the ones with the smaller accounts. Like I think it's important for uh, like to plug
mm,
other artists on the platform that you use, because then it's just they'll do favors for you. I've gotten like freelance gigs from people that I reposted their work. It's like, oh, like, hey, I don't have time for this right now. Like, do you want to take this job? And I'm like, well, fuck yeah, I'm
hell
broke.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
but yeah, Instagram's funny that way. I've had a couple viral Instagram
Mm,
posts, which is really cool. I've like there's one that I actually did turn into an NFT. Uh, I was like really lucky to have at the time. When was it? It must have been earlier this year
mm.
that I met up with a friend in Miami. I was in town, and he's super into the NFT space. And I feel his name is fuck me. I can't not shout him out on here. Um, but he helped me out, and he got me an invite
The foundation.
to Foundation. Yeah.
Yeah, I can find them.
Yeah,
Cause
it's I am Janssen is his Instagram, which I imagine. So I am Janssen, Yonson. Um, he makes some really fucking cool shit. I mean, he's amazing. It's some really awesome 3D rendering stuff that like I have, no idea how to make stuff like this, but he's incredible. And so
oh
he
wow.
liked my work. And I asked him. We met up over coffee, and he kind of explained to me like, yeah, I don't know, like no one knows what the fuck is going on in NFTs, but this is what I do now. I'm like, that's cool. And I asked him, I was like, well, it seems like there's Super Rare and
Mm.
Foundation and Maker's Place. I think maybe this is, I'm outdating myself. This
No,
was
no,
like
it's still there.
way earlier this year.
It's
Um,
still there.
and I'm like, there's Rareable, and then there's whatever. There's like basically Super Rare is like the fucking Rolls Royce of this shit.
It's true.
And if you like get on that one, then maybe you'll sell your NFT. And so I thought Foundation was like the next best thing. And so I was really lucky and fortunate. I got an invite, and I posted one, and it was the I am cringe but I am free one. And so I posted that one strategically because that one had, before it was an NFT, it was just an Instagram post that I made that went viral.
Mm.
And SZA reposted it on her story. Willow Smith reposted it on her
Oh,
story.
nice.
Like there was just this moment earlier this year where I was like, holy fuck, like people are paying attention to what I'm doing. Like these huge stars are posting my
Mm.
work. So I thought like, okay, if I make this one an NFT, surely there will be some interest. And this is me not having a single, like I didn't even make a Twitter page yet. Like
Mm.
I hadn't even had Twitter yet. I was just like, this is something people are doing. I'm going to try, see what happens. And essentially what happened was absolutely nothing. Nothing happened.
Well,
Nothing happened at all. And I was discouraged and a little embarrassed. And I was like, you know what? Like Instagram is, it just made me realize that Instagram is not the place for this the NFT community. That's not where they are.
oh no.
And my following, is not, or rather, my following is not in the NFT space
Well,
on Instagram.
well, that's the thing. It's I realized that the Instagram followings don't translate over to Twitter. They're two separate spheres.
Yeah.
And the Twitter folk, like including myself, look at newcomers and will look at the Instagram account, and the first thought is, we don't care, right? Because legitimately, like that's the thing, like, and like a lot of people like who look into the space from the outside, like see like X Copy and Trevor Jones and all these people like selling out, and what they don't see is, or like even like somebody like Pranksy, right? Because Pranksy almost or hit 100,000 followers, right? Pranksy a year ago was at 9,000 followers, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, and before that, Pranksy like himself, his shit goes back to like CryptoKitties. So a lot of the big names that are happening now have been grinding, and their shit has been like slowly acquired for $7, $10 at a time, right?
Hmm.
To now where its value is known, and they've built the community. And so what happens is, and it happened to me also, like the first thing is like you put your thing and it doesn't sell out, and you like wake up the next day and you refresh it and you're like, did it sell out, did it sell, right?
Hmm.
um
Hmm.
but then what we realized fairly quickly is the community is the biggest, is the biggest thing. And I like now thinking about it, like funny enough, my first sale was through Discord. I was talking
Huh.
on the Rarible Discord, and somebody was like, hey, I'll I'll just give you your first sale. And I was like, I took that shit and ran, right? And it's like
Right.
in this space, right? And to those listening, like you take whatever praise and whatever sale you get, and you run, right?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like the cool thing is, and funny enough, I was talking with your brother, right? And he goes, man, I didn't. That was the time when I realized Henrik Udalen is a big fucking artist on Instagram, right? I just like Henrik like comes into NFTs. I just find his art through scrolling on Hicketnunk, right? Just randomly, like at 2
Hmm.
a.m. in the morning. And one day I'm talking to your brother, and he's like, dude, I holy shit, like Henrik follows you. Like, how'd you get him to follow you? Like, I want to get followed by him. I'm a huge fan, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like, it's like fanboy shit, right? And it's like, I literally,
Yeah.
I had the same moment with like Ai Weiwei, where I was like, I made a meme of Ai Weiwei, and I was like, I'm gonna tag him in it. He's probably not gonna respond. And then he followed me, and I was like, shit. All right.
Yeah.
Right. And then
Yeah.
and then I was telling your brother, like, man, it's actually easier than you think because of how Twitter functions. Right. It's not
Hmm.
Instagram. It's not the flood of likes, and it's not the flood of fire emojis in the comments. Right. So your comments
Yeah.
actually get through unless like you're a big figure. And he got followed by Henrik in 2 days. Right.
Dre did?
Yeah, he did. He literally, like, I think the day after, he's like, dude, he followed me. I'm like, yeah, man, I told you. Like,
Man, Dre is gonna be a fucking cajillionaire. Just you watch.
you know, well, he was telling me, he's like, man, well, to those listening, right, I was trying to get Dre, and and also, like, this is in the works. I'm trying to set up, and I'll show you this after. Um,
Hmm.
if you ever want to hang out in the shit for like future talks. But
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
working on like I did a talk with Godfrey, and then he showed me his studio, and so I'm working on trying to build like a VR chat production house
Hmm.
in there. And then so I was trying to. That's why I was asking Dre about video games, and he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not playing any video games until I make 100K." And I was like, "Damn, that's a good goal, actually. It's a pretty good goal." I'm like, "Damn, nice."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
um, and then for you, sir, it's just like even like because I see your Twitter posts, right? And
Hmm.
you're slowly entering the space, and to those listening, his Twitter is in the his Twitter is in the description. It's just literally about interaction, right? And just
Yeah.
getting in. Like, you don't have to be active in every Discord, right? Because
Hmm.
you'll see memes about how many fucking Discords everybody's in, right? But it's like
Yeah.
you get active in one, and then you start talking to people on Twitter, and then you slowly, and I really mean slowly, like, you realize how small the space actually is. It's
Yeah.
like, it's wild. And also to those
Yeah.
listening, like, he touched on music a little bit, and I'm curious about the music part, sir, because
Sure.
I listened to a few of your songs,
Thank you. Yeah.
because when your brother was like, "Yo, yeah, I sang on there," I was like, "Okay, what's your
Hmm.
brother's music?" And then I checked it, and then give me 1 second. I will
Yeah.
find the song that. Well, I thought Scottish. So well, while I find the song, do you mind explaining like the name of the song? Do you mind explaining like is Scottish Mist like the band that you started with your brother, or is that like is that the evolution of the band that you started with your brother and the music you were making with your brother?
Yeah. So me and my brother were writing songs as kids, and when I went into high school, we made a band, and it kind
Mm.
of several iterations of that band, and it was what it sounded like was a essentially like a more it was very Chili Peppers. It was like Chili Peppers and like 90s
Well, hold on.
Radiohead or something. Yeah.
Which phase of the Red Hot Chili Peppers? Can't Stop, or like early Head Chili Peppers, or like late Chili?
Very very Californication
Oh,
era
okay. All right.
Chili Peppers.
Yeah. That's a good vibe. That's a good vibe.
Yeah. So it was like we were making like funk rock songs,
Okay.
and it was fun. You know, we had a good community of people, but we were young. We were like I was like 16,
Damn.
and Dre was like 18. And anyway, at some point, band breaks up. I go to college. There's lots of songs we didn't get to record or finish writing, and me and Dre decided to continue under the name Scotch Mist.
Oh, did I say
And
Scottish
so,
Mist?
yeah, which is
Fuck
don't
me.
worry, yeah,
No, so I'm pretty sure. Like I've mentioned this on streams before, but I'm legitimately starting to believe that I'm fucking dyslexic. So like, I'll mispronounce everything, or I'll misread
yeah,
everything. It's crazy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Scotch Mist, Ziggleboim. It's I didn't exactly make it easy for people, but yeah, no, Scotch Mist is the name of the band, and it
Mm.
started as a thing between me and my older brother, and we made an album in 2016. We released it in 2016, and it was like a prog rock, kind of an indulgent
Mm.
album. I mean, there's some moments there that are really cool, and I'm proud of it. I'm something that I think me and Dre need to get out of our system.
Mm.
But listening back, I mean, I'm I've grown
Is
quite a
it
bit, and I think Dre has as well.
is it teenage
Um,
level shit?
It's like,
Well, like not teenage.
yeah.
Well, not teenage. Well, no, you guys aren't teenagers by then. Is
Hmm.
it like? Well, actually, I don't. I have no frame of reference for like what sort of post college or sort of that era of like. You know how it's
Yeah.
like you know how like artists go through phases, right? And you can like
Hmm.
look back and be like, this was my like phase, and this was my
Yes.
like depressed. Oh fuck, I'm an artist lonely phase, right? And then musicians, it's
Hmm.
like this is my depressed love me phase and all that. And so like
Right.
um
I, I think I was listening to a lot of like Genesis and Yes
Genesis,
and Pink Floyd and a lot of Radiohead. I mean, that's my favorite band ever,
yeah,
and it's
radio.
part of the reason the reason the name of the band is Scotch Mist is it's after a webcast series that they did, which is how I discovered them, and I always thought the name was cool.
Uh,
Unfortunately, I did not think at all about the Google SEO thing. And so every time someone Googles Scotch Mist, it will be Radiohead
Radiohead.
until we have a hit song,
All
which
right.
is fine.
Well, quick thing though. What's your favorite Radiohead
Yeah,
album? I'm curious. Is it? Well, yeah. What's
it is. It is in rainbows.
In Rainbows? Okay, I'm
Yeah,
surprised. I'm a little bit
without
surprised.
it, without a doubt.
In Rainbows. Okay.
Yeah, it's the best one.
You think okay, you think it's the best one. Okay. All right.
Well,
I
it's
see.
there. You know, Kid A is fucking incredible. OK
Hey, there
Computer
you go.
is
All right,
incredible.
Kid A.
Yeah,
Okay. Hey, no, I'm
there.
happy. You mentioned Kid A. I'm chilling. Kid A is my favorite album.
To me, Kid A is the masterpiece album,
Okay.
but at the same time, like I think In Rainbows is just so much. I could just throw it on,
Yeah, well
and like I feel like it's like a perfect introductory welcome to Radiohead
it's true. Yeah.
album.
You need to be in a mood to listen to Kid A unless otherwise
Yes.
Kid A just sounds like a complete depression fest, which it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes, it is. I mean, most of their records are,
It's
but
true.
I love depressing music. I love Elliott Smith. I love all that shit. I love sad music.
Nice.
Um,
Um
but that first
mm,
album was it was kind of like a me and Dre were young. We were like 21, and we were listening to a lot of progressive rock,
okay.
and that's just the way it came out. And
Nice.
I've been thinking of deleting it off of Spotify, basically.
Why?
But I don't know. I think it's too old. It doesn't like I don't I
Yeah,
I don't resonate with it anymore. It
yeah,
doesn't.
you're talking about it. I'm like, hey, that's good. I'm thinking in my head, I might
Yeah.
go back and give it a listen, and then immediately, you're like, I'm gonna delete it.
You can listen to it if you like. I mean, I guess like since since COVID,
Mm.
uh, or I guess a little bit before COVID, Dre made the decision to move to Florida, and
Oh, so you guys were
um,
together in New York before?
yeah, we were in New
Okay.
York living together for like 2.5 years,
Damn.
and then Dre met his Yoko, and and he left the band, you know. But that's not really what happened. I mean, I love his girlfriend is wonderful. She's a wonderful person. But you know, they're very in love and they want to be together. And New York is fucking expensive as fuck,
Oh,
and I totally get it. And
I've seen
I
the
had a
cases.
job at the time, so I
Okay.
could actually afford it. But I think Dre needed to get out of here. And unfortunately, that meant that we were kind of going our separate ways, which is kind of happening within the music, anyways, at the
Mm.
time.
Oh.
I was starting to really love to sing, and it got to a point where I was like writing the songs, and I wanted to sing on the songs, and it would get a little uncomfortable because Dre doesn't. He's learning through this split, this time away. He's been learning how to play guitar. But at the
Mm.
time, he couldn't contribute anything other than his voice and his unbelievable talent for writing lyrics.
Oh, so you
But
wrote some of the lyrics too.
he's so on that first album that I'm hating on so hard. He's singing on a majority of it. I'm not. I'm barely singing on it. But
Well,
since
oh
that album came
wow.
out, I became a lot more confident, and I basically kind of took the reins in a way.
That's I'm
Um,
okay now. That's all right.
yeah.
No, okay now. Well, I don't know if you know this. Have you ever heard of Spiderland by Slint?
No.
No. Okay, sir. And to those
Hmm.
listening, Spider-Man by Slint is essentially this album. I have the Wikipedia page pulled up because I don't remember the date, but essentially it's this little record that gets recorded by these fucking high school kids in their garage in like 1991 and pretty much inspires like fucking neo metal fucking it's just well, like the genres on the Wikipedia say it's post-hardcore, math rock, and post-rock, but it's like you hear it and the inspiration that you can tell. You're like, oh wow, this is the shit that started this is the shit that started an insane run of '90s rock, right? And so I was just curious about it because it's like it's known to be like one of those like highly influential, depressing albums that is just like it's like full force depression, right? It's like you listen to it and you're like, god damn kid, like you're in high school in America, like chill the fuck out.
Right, that's funny.
It's
cool.
Yeah, no, I sent you the link, and to those listening who are curious, it's Spider-Man by Slint, Slint, and it's like it's crazy because that band is now essentially touring off that album and then another album, and that's all they've been doing. And you're like,
that's fine.
It's, I mean, like I sort of think they were like kids, and then they're too scared, and to like try to release a new one, right? Especially because of like how big and how influential like their first album was, right? It's like a Nas sort of situation where like Nas is not. You like? Do you listen to hip hop?
Of course, I love hip hop.
Right, and so it's like everybody like I'm a big fan of Nas's first album. And then I can't I can't listen to any of his other stuff.
Right. Yeah, it's hard when your first or second record is a classic. It's a very hard thing to follow up.
And it's insane pressure as well, right? Like
but thankfully, so I'm not in that situation at all. I can follow up pretty easily.
Well, so to those listening, I went on your YouTube and I listened to Operator. And then that's when I sent you the message. I was like, hey, do you listen to Tame Impala? Right? Because I was like, yo, I'm hearing some fucking Tame Impala inspiration.
I definitely listen to Tame and Paula.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. Nice. I see. I've only met Tame, unfortunately.
Right. Right.
Well, like, I actually wanted to ask, like, what? So, like, I've been noticing, right, in the music industry, right, like they sort of call it pop rock. I don't know what the fuck. I classify it as like ethereal rock music. That's like well, I actually don't know how to classify it, but I was curious about like what's sort of the inspiration, right, behind like the ethereality of like the music, right, and like how spacey and how like well, I guess the spacey is the term, right? Because like sometimes I listen to I will specifically Operator. I was listening to it and I was like, damn, sir, like I can be floating right now, you know, just like,
that's sick.
Well, and it's like it's funny because you're floating in a pool in the music video.
Right.
Also, like you have a sick fucking music video director, sir. Like I was like watching that shit, I was like, damn.
Yeah, that's my roommate. Shout out Daniel Gov, who is also an incredible. This guy is like a jack of all trades artist. I mean, like anything he puts his mind to, he just kills it. He also made a couple NFTs, and I think similarly got discouraged. And he's like he's literally as good as I am at designing. And he's been working on music, but he hasn't put anything out yet. But yeah, I mean, I asked him. He has a love for movies and cinema, and I think he wants to also like. He's just a guy that like. He said, I'm going to write a fucking book someday. I'm going to fucking make a movie someday. I'm going to make an album someday. I'm going to do all the things that I can possibly do creatively because I love art, you know. And so this guy, Daniel, is my roommate. I'm very fortunate and extremely talented. And he was in Florida and I went down to Florida to shoot that video with him. Nice. And we kind of just, we brainstormed all the shots and we just we did it. We did that shit. It's cool. I don't know how, you know, it's sad to me that the video has like, I don't know, less than 1,000 views probably right now because the amount of work that went into it was like, you know,
well, it's
a labor of love.
It's true. I know how you feel. It's
Yeah.
And like that feeling, like we feel like that on Twitter too, because it's like we post something and we're like, this is banger, 2 likes,
Yeah.
hey, right?
Yeah, literally.
But it's also
Yeah.
just like the algorithm on fucking YouTube is weird, right? And then I also, I don't know if Dre has told you this, but people have been
Hmm.
minting their music as NFTs. And are you a fan of Mick Jenkins?
That sounds familiar, but I
Me,
don't think I've heard
have
the
you?
music.
Here, I'll send you a quick. I imagine those listening, they know who Mick Jenkins is. Um,
Hmm.
I can so I low key consider him to be on par with Kendrick Lamar a little bit, but a lot of people will look at me like I have fucking 4 heads when I say that. But it's like,
Hmm.
it's the lyrics. It's the lyrics,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, I legitimately think. But anyways, he joined the NFT space, um, and he's selling his thing on this platform called Catalog. And to
Yeah.
those listening, if you want to check out music NFTs or also like music streaming, NFT music streaming, right?
Hmm.
Catalog is like this really cool platform. Even I myself need to use it more, just because um, it can sort of feel like an echo chamber of certain sites, and you gotta expand about out of those sites to like explore some of this stuff. But um, you essentially, it's like a digital version of like wax printing, right? So like you take your track, you NFT it, and it says like, oh, it's been waxed, like wax printed or whatever, and then
Word.
people can bid on it. But I think whoever bids on it, you can still like find the song and actively play it regardless of who owns it,
Right.
right? And so,
That's fire. I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. To me, I think before I posted the NFT,
mm,
the first and only one that I posted, it was like the attitude was very much like, why not? Fuck it. And then like, but I
mm,
think it's like the fear of like doing it and seeing no result that like makes me
oh,
not want to. But I that's with anything. I mean, it's a
it's
silly
true.
silly reason to not do something when it doesn't hurt to
Oh,
do it or try it.
and honestly, like although I say this to everybody, I even say this on like random Twitter spaces, right? Even if you don't sell out immediately, right? And it's like I'm talking from my personal experience, right? With people pay attention to who stays and who leaves, right?
Mm,
And usually, I legitimately believe that within 6 months, right, people start to find connections either through collabs or through other projects, right?
hmm.
Like a way, like doors start to open up because like as again like as your icon appears more and more, right? People just get to know it. It's like it can be pretty demotivating, right? Especially because it's like, especially in your case, because you're starting from zero, right? Essentially, like you have to
Yeah.
restart your following um, from zero. And Instagram
Yeah.
people, to those listening, don't fucking hate if he posts about NFTs because a lot of people like to hate on Instagram,
Oh
I
my God,
guess.
they fucking dude. Yeah, they
Wait,
fucking.
did they come after you?
Thankfully, no. But it's like, and that's the thing with Instagram too. The following Instagram followings are fickle bitches, man. Like they literally, like I posted a photo of my face for the very first time, something I've been dreading to do, but knowing that at some point
Yeah.
the art needs a face. People need to have a reason to a person to kind of attach it to in some form.
Mm.
And so I posted like some photos of myself, like, hello, time to, past time I introduced myself to all of you, blah, blah, blah. I lost like 200 people immediately are just like, fuck off, unfollow,
Actually?
you know? So it's, yeah, oh, totally. I mean, and I realize, 200 in the grand scheme of the amount of people that do follow me on Instagram is nothing. And also the mindset of like, well, those people, I was never going to sell them a print and I was never gonna get them to listen to my record and they're just like,
These are
dead weight
facts.
essentially.
Big facts.
Um
Big facts.
so, for
Damn.
whatever reason, yeah, people they unfollow all the time. I mean,
Yo,
all
like yeah, no.
so posting about an NFT, like it doesn't I at that point, especially because it was such a beloved, like the one that
Mm-hmm.
I made, the only one that I made went viral. Uh I was like, oh, people are gonna fuck with this regardless. Like whether they hate on it that it's an NFT and that it's blah 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 blah, the environment, blah blah blah. You know, it's fucking funny. Like it's essentially I'm cringe thing. I'm free. It's just a joke.
It's pretty good. It's pretty well. That's the thing. It's like I guarantee you there is like a following that, like, and there would be collectors of your work, right? It just like that's the thing is visibility in the space. Like you just have to get to them, right? And you just have to build enough trust in them that they're like, okay, cool, right? And then like once that happens, and like I mean, just like for you specifically, right? Like you already have this style, you know?
Yeah.
And like to those listening, like you already see, because like I'm recording a blank image right now, right? And you're not seeing anything, but like the backdrop of this video is like three, depending on the sizing of your photos. There'll either be 3 or 4 photos, right? And to those looking, like there's a recognizable style, right? And legitimately, the cool thing is you make different versions of each design, right? Different colored versions, right? And we have like dynamic NFTs that change with the time of day, right? So you already have a bunch of posts that are ready to be put into dynamic NFTs to change with times of day. Like that's already there, right?
Yeah.
And if not, you already have
that's cool.
It's wild. And like this space, like I look at it as essentially like it can give you complete independence, right? In the sense where you can host your own art show and host your own concert with no fucking help from nobody, and gain all the income, right? Because it's like we have Decentraland. I don't know. Has your brother shown you Decentraland? Well, I don't know. Has Andreas been? I don't know if your brother has even been shown Decentraland. But
I don't think so.
So Decentraland is like this open world, like, you know, video game that's browser based, right? And people buy plots and sell plots for real money and shit. But you can have like screens that then connect to YouTube, right? And you can have streams and stuff. So people have concerts in there and shit, right? And oh, dude, it's the space. The space is wild, sir. like legitimately, like the space. It's like, have you heard about like the whole Uzi, Fortnite thing? The whole little Uzi Fortnite. Was it little Uzi?
Yeah, it sounds familiar. Was there something NFT related going on with that?
Oh no! So Fortnite, essentially had little Uzi come in and host a concert.
Yeah.
In Fortnite. Right?
Yeah.
And all the kids paid for it, or was it Lil Uzi? It might not be Lil. Oh, it was Travis Scott. Forgive me.
It was Travis Scott. Yeah. That sounds more.
Yeah.
That I remember that happening for sure. Yeah.
And so like his concert fucking was insane. And then we have like everybody has the capabilities to do that now, and it's like it's actually crazy. It's
well, I think that was also really well timed, right? Like, you know, you have, you know, people were still probably, you know, locked in their houses, and especially these kids were just like super fucking down to quote watch a concert. So I feel like now maybe that wouldn't happen. At least like we're in New York, you know, concerts are happening.
oh yeah, you're in America. Y'all don't have to fucking do shit.
Are you not in America?
No, I'm in Canada. I'm in Montreal.
Cool, Montreal's cool, man.
It's fun. It's you're closer than your brother to Montreal. You can come up here.
Much closer.
I mean,
much closer.
Yo, if you and your brother ever think of coming to the city, it's come. I will show you the city.
I was there in 2016 for that music festival they have there.
Osheaga,
yeah. I saw Radiohead there and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Funny,
nice. I spent 5 years listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers. Right, came to Canada from my university.
Yeah.
And first year there, Radio Hot Chili Peppers decided to have a Pyramids concert, and I was fucking mad as shit, because I lived 20 minutes or 10 minutes walking, depending on how fast you go, from the Pyramids. Legit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's like I was like mad as shit. I was like, motherfuckers, Flea fucking
Yeah.
playing his bass in front of the pyramids,
Yeah.
and I was in Canada, fucking
Yeah.
Winterland.
Thank God John Frusciante is back in that band.
Oh, is he back?
Oh, he's back. He's
You know,
fucking back.
you're the second person I have heard to mention John Frusciante's
Hmm.
name. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people like are fans of Red Hot Chili Peppers, but they don't know like what John Frusciante added to the band, and then when he left, and then when he's back, and then also a lot of people don't listen to his solo shit, which is fucking wild.
I mean, that guy is a
It's
tortured
insane.
soul. I mean, he like all his teeth fell out and shit. I mean,
Wait, what?
he was hardcore. Yeah, there's a YouTube video of him in the '90s. Like, so he left the band like twice, but the first time he left the band, he got like heavily addicted to all of the drugs, like
Damn.
literally all of the drugs. And there's a video on YouTube. If you, I'll send a link of John Frusciante being interviewed in his home while he's like high as fuck on heroin and strung
Jesus.
out and like looking like the Joker and acting like the Joker. And so anyway, it's kind of crazy that he was able to kind of come out of this really dark place and that they invited him to be back in the band after all that shit. And so
Yeah, well, it's
yeah, it's a
like
pretty.
he's a great musician still, right? Like his
I mean, yeah, he's making like jungle like dance music. I mean, it's fucking fire. But he to me, he's one of the most influential. Like he's one of the most influential guitar players for me. I mean, I still want to play like how he plays.
oh dude, he's yeah. I have
Yeah,
one of my best friends. He was also just in love with John Frusciante.
yeah.
It's and he loved like and then he fucking loved what is it, Lou Reed and all those people as well. And
Hmm.
I remember he
Yeah,
cried when Lou Reed passed away in our school. I was like, damn, bro, fuck,
yeah,
shit. And
yeah.
then
It's sad.
yeah. Well, I'm curious, like, what new music are you listening to, if any? Like
Um,
any like, like
yeah.
musicians and people who usually record, are in the
Hmm.
studio. You usually get to hear like the new shit or like some wild shit, and also to those listening, music is a pretty inspirational uh, um, aid to artistry, right? A lot of us, at least from the artistic side, paint while we listen to music, right? And
Oh
so,
yeah, I can't design without music on or
oh,
anything.
okay,
Right. Yeah, I mean, I need to have music on. I need to have music on while I shower. Even it's kind of I love listening to music.
yeah,
But right now I'm listening to like a lot of Beatles.
okay,
I've
oh,
been like
okay,
really into like their solo records like McCartney or John Lennon's Plastic Ono Band. But I've
nice.
also been listening to my friend's music a lot. Like there's this pop duo who I'm literally gonna go see their show tonight, and they're like
Oh,
best friends of mine. Like I've known them for years and years. And while I was in college, they're a pop duo. One of them's named Matt, and the other's Mika. And
mm.
Matthew was like one of I mean, he still is one of my best friends. And he helped me produce that first Scotch Mist album that I'm so embarrassed about. And yeah, I mean, he was. They were making progressive rock too, the two of them, and now they've made like for the past 5 years, I think it's been. They've been making pop music, and it is just like they just released their debut record last week, and it's popping off. Like
Nice,
eight
nice.
on they got an 8 on Pitchfork. They got Anthony Fantano is like interviewing them and reviewing their
Oh,
music.
yeah, I can't
Yeah,
stand Anthony Fantano anymore.
yeah.
His political hot takes are sometimes the dumbest fucking things I see on Twitter all day, and I'm like, okay, Fantano, get the fuck out of my face.
Right. I don't really care about the political
I
stuff,
know,
but I
me
think he has
neither.
some good. I like his music hot takes. I think they're
It's
pretty entertaining.
there. I stopped watching like music reviews after what is it? YouTube started going hard on you can't play the music, and it's like, well, given to Fantano, he never played the music to begin with, right?
Right.
But it's like
Right.
my thing was always like, man, I want to listen to the music that's being reviewed, or at least a little snippet. Um, and
Right.
then YouTube just fucking with their pitchforks. It's actually crazy. Are
Yeah.
you do you listen to metal at all?
Um, not so much. Not so much. But what kind of metal are we talking about?
Just any metal, really. It's already
Any
hard.
metal.
It's already hard enough to find a metalhead in real life. Well, not
Um,
really, but you know, I can spot a metalhead by their shirts, but you know.
right. I think I you know, I don't, this to you. I don't know if it's metal to you, but I love Led Zeppelin. I love Metallica, or
Okay.
not Metallica. I actually don't love Metallica.
Okay,
I like.
Jesus, damn,
I'm okay. I'm
damn,
okay with
sir.
Metallica. I was thinking of Black Sabbath, which is why you know, I think Black Sabbath is fucking fire. I love King Crimson, which can get pretty heavy.
Nice.
Porcupine Tree's fire. They can get
Okay.
pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Um, I like heavy. Yeah, I love heavy shit. There's a band called Black Midi. I don't know if I probably wouldn't classify them as metal, but I like like loud rock
Okay.
shit. I love that shit.
And like, well, does any of that like make its way into? I mean, looking at your poster designs, well, like, does
Mm.
any of the music you listen to make its way into the music, like, into the works that you do?
Oh
Um,
yeah, for sure.
because it's like,
Sometimes like
mm,
yeah, like
mm,
sometimes I won't know. There's only so many, and that's something I'm trying to find what my next step is with these designs,
mm,
because a lot of these designs are they're affirmations, and I love them, and I love what I've been doing. But it's like, how many times do you have to tell someone that everything's going to be okay? You know, like I'm trying to find my next, like what, how do I progress from here? You know. But some of them, so sometimes I'm like, I don't know what inspirational thing I want to tell someone today. So I'm just gonna like make a design based off of a song that I really like right now. So like there's one that's based off the song Tomorrow Never Knows by the Beatles, and it's, you know, it says one of the lyrics is turn off your mind and relax and float downstream. And
okay,
I'll make a design based on, you know, and use some lyrics from one of the songs. Or there's actually a Tame Impala one that one of the lines is the only one who's really judging you is yourself.
nice.
Um, so yeah, I mean, you know, then there's like a Flying Lotus one, like the song "Do the Astral Plane," or like an Elliott Smith one that says "Everything means nothing to me." And so there's, yeah, I'll take like lyrics
Okay,
when I'm feeling uninspired. There's a Beach Boys one that I love a lot that I made. It's literally the name of the song. It says, "I guess I just wasn't made for these times." I fucking love that song, man. Damn. So yeah, I'll you know, music is always, it's always on, and if I'm feeling uninspired, I'm like, or I'm really loving a song, or I'm really connecting to something that the song's, you know, saying, I'll make a design for that song.
nice. Actually, it's pretty
Hmm.
nice. I do sometimes similar things with lyrics or
Hmm.
poetry if I like or even like a line of dialogue or description in a book. If I like it, I'll add it into my work. Um,
Hmm.
it's like a nice extra little like depth, you know, to like to those who recognize it. At least they're like, ah, this is from there, you know, and
Right.
to those listening, you should always do this in your work, you know, because that's also how you like you low key like build well, not a cultish fan base as in like an actual cult, you know, but like, you know how people describe like movies like cult hits, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
um those who like start to really like your work will feel much more like closer to you, right? Because they're like, hey, I understand what he's referencing here, you know,
Yeah. Totally.
and
Totally.
it's pretty gnarly. I, I'm curious, like, and you know, this is gonna be my last question, you know,
Okay.
before I ask any more like dumb fucking questions, right?
No, no, no,
No,
you're good.
but
You're good.
I see two cows, and I see like it's not like an overall presence in your work, but like I see you've used like a couple of cow pictures in your posters, and I'm just
Yeah, you
curious
know,
why why the cow?
that is fucking funny, dude. Um, I think, yeah, I was thinking about that the second. after I posted the second cow, I was like, wow, I thought the same thing. I was like, this is the second time I use a cow. What's up with that? Um, I don't think there's any reason. I think like for the first one, my vibes are not off. I just thought it was just the most stupid, like it was just the dumbest thing I could throw in there. I love that page affirmations, which is
Mm,
literally I don't know. I hope they have a Twitter. If they don't, then I mean, if anyone should make an NFT, it's this fucking page. It's
mm.
called affirmations with three F's. Affirmations. Um, but literally, like there's a there's like the fucking on their Instagram page. It's like it says eye contact is not scary,
Wow.
and it's
Oh
like
wow,
a photo of the Mona Lisa. You know, just something like
dude.
social. You know, I will not die lonely and poor, and it's like Joe Biden's face.
Yo, these pictures
I
are
am,
great.
you know, they're just like dumb. Sometimes they make sense, sometimes they make no sense. Like I can trick my brain into feeling good, and it's like Neo in the Matrix. Anyway, I just wanted to like not have to think so hard, and I want to throw a cow in there. And then the second one felt like it tied together a little more. Like be outstanding in your field, and there's a cow in a field.
Well,
You know.
that's actually. I mean, I'm looking at the affirmation page and like that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, they're
Jesus
insane.
Christ, I am not
Yeah,
always very depressed.
yeah, it's fucking hysterical. If anything, I would like to go in more in that direction. I think the funnier,
Mm.
the less intense and like like this idea here, like this one that I made, you will end up exactly where you belong. Like kind of giving people these like
Well,
reasons to chill the fuck out about like, oh, maybe your problems aren't
well, I see
so
puns
bad.
in. I see puns in your work also, right? Like be the energy you want to attract, and then bees are
Yeah,
in the photos. Um,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you can also. I mean, like, yo, you can use memes, and we love memes in this space, and everybody memes. You know, like
yeah,
memes have big energy here. It's actually
yes,
hilarious. And listen, I mean, I would love to see more fucking cow posters. Honestly, it's great.
yeah.
I wanna be outstanding in my field with full
Right. Maybe
stomachs. You know,
I'll just become EDUZIGGY will just become a cow
just
appreciation page. Um,
just
no,
like.
but I think my favorite ones and I think the ones that even maybe not the ones that I mean
Mm,
I definitely the I am cringe and I am free one went off so hard because it was fucking funny.
mm,
Um, since then the ones that go off that have went off as hard equally as hard they're kind of like little thought bubbles.
yeah, well,
But
I'm scrolling now and it's like I see like what is it? Some like the ones that either do with like some sort of like psychedelic introspection or
mhm,
um also like if they're like super cute, you know,
yeah,
because
yeah.
also like yeah, you're actually dude, your style. Hold on, do you draw some of your shit?
Um, mostly no.
Oh, okay.
Mostly no. Like a lot of it is like
What?
manipulation.
Yeah, so I can tell that a lot of it, like so, or like some of it's like the collage stuff. But here,
Hmm.
I'll send you the link for this one. It says, "I am not happy. No, I'm not what happens to me. I am what I choose to become." Did you do that drawing?
Uh, no, so that's an artist named Dreyfus,
Okay.
Ashley Dreyfus, who is the loveliest. So she's like someone that has made me feel so part of the Instagram design and illustration community, and so she's been sweet to me from the get go. Like I had so many questions. Like getting started, I was like, okay, all these artists are making their money through prints. Like,
Mm.
hey, actually, I'm just curious. Like, how do you do your prints? Like, you have a shop running. Like, how do you do that? And she's just been like from the beginning. I've treated her almost as a mentor.
Mm.
I have a question, and she's just answers it and is so responsive and sweet. And so she came to New York earlier this year, and we got to actually meet in person. And we
Nice.
got along great. And she came over, we hung out, we got some food, we went thrifting. Like it was fun
Nice.
as fuck. And I think while we hung out, she was just like, "We should do a collab." And I was like, "Yeah." Like, why haven't we done a collab?
Nice.
And she's just like, send me an idea. Like, I'm fucking down. And it was, of course I wanted to collab. Like, fucking duh. I just didn't want to, like, as she has like a much bigger following than I do. And so I didn't want to be weird, I didn't want to make it weird or something by like, I didn't want to ride her clout and be like, hey, can we, ask, I don't like asking people for things like that. But,
That's fair.
but she brought it up and I was like, fuck yeah. And so the one that we made went like, that might be the most liked, the most viral one that we made. I think Halsey shared it to her story.
Nice.
A lot of like celebs have put this on their page to some degree. And that's another thing. I'm so curious. I'm sure this happens on Twitter all the time. But one of the most frustrating things about being an artist on Instagram is the lack of crediting that happens on this fucking social media. Like,
So
people will, yeah,
like people
people
will
just post my shit, just post it and filter it on their own and not tag me. And so this happened with Bella Hadid. Like, this is what happens, man. Like, if you don't, if
wait, Bella Hadid posted your shit without crediting you?
Bella Hadid posted my shit on her page, didn't know, you know, giving her benefit of the doubt here, she didn't know, I imagine, that I was the artist. And she just posted my work on her page through like a little scrolly thing. I was like the last thing on the scrolly thing.
What?
And yeah, I like, I fucking freaked out. My friends were like, yo, like, check this out. No credit. And she gets like a fucking, 10,000 comments at a time.
Oh, of course. Of course.
And so I'm like trying to get all the people on my following to comment, like, credit EDUZIGGY, whatever. And like, she makes it even harder to do that because in order to comment on her post, you have to follow her. So now all these people that didn't ever want to have to fucking follow Bella Hadid are,
Now following Bella Hadid.
following her. And anyway, she did eventually see it, and she did credit me, and that was very dope of her. But this shit happens only because someone else
goes on and
she probably saw saw that post. Again, this is giving her benefit of the doubt. But she probably saw that post on someone else, posted without crediting me. And then that happened, because how the fuck is she supposed to know who to credit if I wasn't credited on the post? So that shit happens all the time on Instagram, and it's super frustrating.
On Twitter, it's sort of like on Twitter, especially with NFTs, like it doesn't really happen that much because once you tweet out about it and people see it and they get caught, we just catch them, right? And like say you find somebody, because we've had this happen thing in the space where like artists on Instagram find out somebody has been minting their shit without their knowledge on the NFT space. You can literally like request a takedown. And if you come in the space, right, and you have the proof and you like be like, hey, and you make a tweet about it, 9 times out of 10 the space will like rally behind you and will and so it's like we've been able to catch it, right? And it's like so good, but it's also like we there are scams and there are people that take your posts and try to sell them and shit. It's not
shit
really...
maybe that's my end, dude. Maybe you should post one of my works as a different artist, just create a different thing, and then I'll be like, everyone, look at what's happening, and the whole community will now know my work.
Everybody will, like, it literally happened actually. Like there was one artist essentially was like going to this other artist's portfolio, taking the images off the portfolio and then sort of changing them to his own style. And when the artist found out, he wasn't in the NFT space at all. The moment he joined, everybody was like, all right, we gotta support you, sir, and they just gave him all. So like, hey, I mean, if you find somebody stealing your shit, come to Twitter, we'll go after them.
Right.
It's actually it's, and like the best thing about crypto and NFTs is like say somebody like a big name, right, mints your shit and then deletes it or whatever or burns it, we still have all the transaction history that they did it, so like nothing can get lost to proof,
Word. Yeah.
But it's like I've heard about Instagram like doing that shit, and it's like a lot of like the big art accounts as well, right? They'll like
Yeah.
DM for promotions, and if you don't pay, then it's just like a random fucking photo with no tag. Please comment the artists so we can add them later, and then they actually don't add
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, that's whack.
It's crazy. Do, do
So
you,
whack.
do you get a lot of people that like shill and tag you and stuff?
You mean tag
Like,
me when that stuff like this happens? Like
no,
when
or more like, hey, look at my art. Hey, please like follow me. Hey, please like my art. Cause like in the space
um
here, like you'd be like, like sometimes I'll be posting something, or like a big account will post something, and then somebody will come under and post their art in the like as a response, right?
occasionally, yeah. I've gotten some messages of like, hey, like check out my work that I love what you do or whatever, and I'll actually like look at it. I love looking at you. I try to make
Okay.
sure that my whole feed is artists. Like I think another problem with Instagram as a whole and society is everyone likes to follow fucking big booty hoes, and we got to do something about this. We have to get them to stop following the big booty hoes and start following people, artists. It's good for your brain to look at cool shit.
I
I
agree.
don't think it's good for your I don't think it's good for your brain to look at cheeks all day. So
Did I? I
yeah.
mean, I
So
do I do agree. Looking at cool shit is far better for the eyes. And Instagram, like literally, like Instagram flat out for art is like it's good just as like an image clicker, right? It's now
yeah.
become like a more of like a social image type thing than my art store type thing, and it's thrown a lot of artists under the bus, right? Because artists are
Yeah.
essentially they're the ones that made what Instagram is.
Totally.
It's
Totally.
like
It's especially nerve-wracking when you don't do. I mean, I've done some animation, but I'm not,
oh
especially all the stuff that I'm, all the texturing and all that stuff, like that's not stuff I can really animate. Like I there's like a whole process of shit that I do to make my art the way that it looks,
uh
that I have to like solidify a lot of the layers of you know so I haven't animated so much because it's kind of complicated.
it's so much
But
work, of
now
course.
Instagram is like becoming, I think one of the head of Instagram or whatever is like, hey, this is going to be a more, I think he warned like a couple of months ago. He was like, this is going to be, just heads up, this is going to be a more video oriented app,
Yeah,
which sucks because it's like, dude, like let TikTok be TikTok. Like it's okay that TikTok exists and Instagram exists. You don't have to be TikTok, Instagram. That's not why people go on Instagram.
it's true. These are big facts. So you
Yeah.
are
So
speaking the
it's
biggest facts right now. Big
like I I
facts.
love I love TikTok, but I'm not like, who the fuck goes on Reels on Instagram? Like truly.
I
I
so I well
sometimes.
I
But
go
still.
yeah no I go on Reels because I hate TikToks, but even then I hate Reels because I see some real dumb shit on there. And it's like
Yeah.
YouTube has shorts now, and it's pretty every platform is trying to be um the new TikTok, and it's not gonna work. Like fucking
Yeah. It's
um
failing pretty miserably. I mean, I think like, yeah, this happens all the time. It's happened. I remember when Snapchat introduced stories. I mean, what a game changer.
yeah,
Like that now Instagram is,
the stories
I mean,
place.
Instagram like just decimated them and took that concept
I
and
know, and
got,
Twitter tried to launch their own stories, and then they took that shit off pretty quickly.
yeah, it doesn't work for every. And so hopefully all these social media places and they learn their lesson and just let TikTok be, just let it be what it is.
I
So
agree, and it would also just allow the artists, in the space to actually thrive. You know.
exactly, like as soon as video, if Instagram is truly going to be a place for video, I mean, there's so many artists that are just image based. I mean, think of I mean, Instagram is literally it was a photography app.
It's
Like
true. It's true.
when I first started, when I first logged into Instagram, I was following photographers.
Yeah.
They're fucked.
Yeah. Oh,
So like
it's
they
true.
have to start like making BTS, like doing like working twice as hard now. It
It's
sucks.
true. I brought my girlfriend into the space because I was like, fucking Instagram it's just it's shit. It's not good,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, sir, hopefully you as well start minting in the space your style
Yeah.
and your music, sir. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And
Thank you, man. Thank you.
like legitimate, like man, like your style, you already have the style to join the space, and
Yeah.
a lot of people already reject this space flat out. That, you know,
Hmm.
when you come in, like you're already accepted and you can make friends pretty quickly in the space and stuff, like, right.
Yeah.
And then like it just like you realize like how tight knit of like a community it is, and everybody just knows each other, everybody talks about each other, everybody memes each other to hell, like it's hilarious.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. I just need to, part of me is just I need to. I don't know what discords to join. I don't know
yeah.
what space, like who are the people that are holding the spaces that, the Twitter spaces that are the ones that the good ones,
Yeah.
like, or whatever.
It trust it just like it happens more organically than you think. You just like the cool
Hmm.
artists that you follow usually end up in cool spaces.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like the same thing. The cool artists that you follow sometimes will start to create their own discords, and then through that you start to expand to other discords. And even if you join, like I'll already send you an invite to the Metakey Discord because this gets posted over there, right?
Cool.
And this talk you know, it's done for the Meta crew and for the artists over there to like listen to artists speak and musicians speak and such. So
Yeah.
I'll show you that Discord. But even through there, like you'll find like mad Discords, right? And just through Twitter, like you'll see a person who's like, "Yo, I'm active on here," and you'll join that, and then, you know, 3 Discords later, you're like down a wormhole for a project that you really like. You know, it's wild.
Yeah. Fire.
You know,
Cool. I'm excited, man. This
it,
is,
it
I'm
was great.
stoked.
It is great. You know, Ed,
Yeah.
thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
This was pretty good, man. This was actually great. I was
Cool. Yeah.
I
It
was
was
a little
great
bit
talking to
worried.
you.
I was like, I haven't talked to you at all, like except in Twitter messages, like, hey, how are you? Do you like Tame Impala? I was like, I don't know. Are we gonna have like dead air? Like, hey, hello,
No, no, no,
shit.
no, no. I'm as cool as Dre, if not cooler.
I guess. Listen, we're gonna. Well, we might battle it out in VR chat. You know, who knows?
I'm down. I'm down.
Yeah, you get to be any avatar in that shit. It's fucking it's wild. I'm like, of course the Egyptian, right, being me, chose a mummy skin at times, but you know,
Right.
it's
Right.
wild. You can be like, it's crazy. I'll actually show you later when like the whole production house setup. And to everybody listening, yes, you heard it. I'm trying to set up like a VR production house in VR chat.
Yeah.
And we'll host some events there and some talks there, and also um, Ed's links are in the description. So, sir, I have
Cool.
included your Twitter, your Instagram,
Cool.
for both your personal like art page and your Scotch Mist page.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um,
Album comes out. Album comes out next week, Friday. 1 week from today.
you know,
Called Cry Baby, and it's indie psychedelic rock
I'm gonna be listening to that
adventure.
shit. Indie
Cool, man.
psychedelic rock. Damn. All right, I'm gonna definitely be
Yeah.
listening to that, sir. Um,
Cool.
do you want me to include your foundation link in the description as well?
Yeah. Sure.
Hell yeah. All right.
Why not? Why not? Why
So,
not?
to those listening, you heard it. Links are in the description. Twitter, Insta's, Foundation. Yes, Ed is on Foundation. You know, you can go pick up his Genesis right now. People are pretty big on Genesis. Actually, it's wild.
Are they? Are they?
It's like your first piece ever on the blockchain. They're like, ooh,
Right.
wow, ooh, wow. You know, it's like
Check out my
fascination.
fucking. Look at my fucking Genesis, man. It's fire.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a good
actually,
one.
you know, it's actually a great piece, and the clouds moving in the background and everything. It's
Yeah.
wild. But yeah, everybody go
Thanks, man.
follow him. Go check out the links in the description, and I will see you guys in the next little video talk thing. Bye.
Cool. Cool.